You're listening to the Full Court Press with your host, Drew Duncan. Don't you dare touch that dial. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Full Court Press. I'm your host, Drew Duncan. You're checking me out live from the K-Sun Studios in Wichita, Kansas. I am on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, all at Drew Duncan 83. You can also listen at ksunradio.org. That's ksunradio.org. The Denver Broncos quarterback situation is beginning to mount as we speak. I think that a lot of people were trying to stick up for Trevor Simeon, and I think those days are officially gone. It's done. It's over with. I think everybody's finally realized Simeon's not the guy. Average is not even a word that I would use to describe Trevor Simeon. That's being nice at this point. And it's not that Simeon doesn't have some capabilities, but I've expressed over and over again what kind of system you need to use Trevor Simeon in order to make this work. Basically, the tip of the iceberg, or I should say the icing on the cake, pardon me, is Deion Sanders decided to take to television and say, you got to, quote, free Eli Manning and trade him for Trevor Simeon. So basically what needs to happen here is everybody needs to just stop, and there's nothing that anybody could do about it. Okay, Simeon is their guy. It's what Elway wants is Trevor Simeon. There's been rumors circulating that Simeon is not Joseph's guy, that is Elway's guy, that Joseph wanted Lynch. Well, that was a moot point because Lynch was out. Lynch was hurt. It wouldn't have mattered. Now, he did come back. Okay, he's been back in practice this past week. But whether or not he's going to play this Sunday, who knows? But word is they made it in another announcement, and that Simeon is the guy. They're not. Look, why would you go with Brock Osweiler? Let's just put this all in perspective really quick, okay? The Denver Broncos are a 500 football team. Have they had some bad games? Some of the wins were even ugly? Absolutely. The Chargers were allowed to come back in that game. The win over the Raiders wasn't that great. They had a really hard time with the Buffalo Bills. Obviously, a loss to the New York Football Giants was really bad, but you're still a 500 football team. So at this juncture, why would you change quarterbacks? We're not talking about a 1-4 team. We're not talking about the Chicago Bears. We're not talking about a lot of other teams in football, the Browns, okay, the 49ers. We're not just the Broncos are not in that same boat. So even though a change needs to be made at quarterback, it shouldn't happen. I don't think so, and probably won't happen until the end of this season when they decide to go another direction next year, in which case I have told people that it won't matter. This will all be a moot point when it's all said and done, because provided that Chad Kelly is good and healthy and ready to go next season, he's going to be the guy in Denver. He's their first-round draft pick. That's who they took, and I think Chad Kelly would have been the guy this season had it not been for the injury, period. I know that he was in practice, or seen after practice, I should say, quote, dropping dimes. But Chad Kelly's not going to be on the field this year. Paxton Lynch is the only other option, if you ask me, at quarterback right now for this football team. So if they were going to make a change, it would be Paxton Lynch. It wouldn't be Brock Osweiler. It'd be Paxton Lynch, period. Look, if you're going to go with Trevor Simeon as your guy, and this is when experienced coaching comes in, you're going to have to adjust kind of mid-season here. And you're going to have to slowly integrate a different style of playbook into the offense. And this is what I've been telling people that you need to do in order to be successful with Trevor Simeon. And that is, you need to run a pistol style of offense, heavy tight end set formations. You need to run some pistol train formations. Okay, now, there's a lot of different things. Literally, you could put in 7 formations into this system that are geared towards what I'm talking about, and you could probably at least put in 100 to 200 plays in each different system, or each different formation, and make this work. And the best part is if you go no huddle and you don't substitute, the defense doesn't get to substitute. So once you get into a formation that you're in that is throwing off the defense, then you can just stick with it. That's the beauty of the no-huddle offense. It doesn't necessarily mean that you hurry up and snap the football. It just means that you're a no-huddle and you're giving the defense no opportunity to alter who's going to be on the football field, because if they can't change personnel, then they can't match up with what the offense is trying to do. But out of this whole thing, that really makes me the most upset isn't the fact that the coaching hasn't changed. It's not the fact that the formations and style of play hasn't changed. It's not the fact that Deion Sanders went on TV and said they need to get Eli Manning. Hell, it's not even the rumors that Andrew Luck may be heading to Denver at some point. None of that has bothered me more than Trevor Simeon, quote, "I deserve a broken nose for my performance." Really? You deserve a broken nose? Like that? Wow, look at me. I'm Trevor Simeon. I need attention. I need everybody to feel sorry for me. I played so bad that I deserved a broken nose. Wow. Stop it. Can we just stop, bro, and just take responsibility for your actions like a normal adult? Can we do that? I get that he's young, okay? But come on. That is just so childish to me. Bro, you're stinking it up. You're turning it over. Everybody's frustrated with you. There's no more apologies. There's no more Peter King saying you're the guy. There's nobody following you around to practice anymore. There's none of that. There's none of that stuff, dude. Nobody wants you to do anything other than be a man, own up to it, and figure out a way to stop it. You know, Simeon has a hard time reading blitz packages. He carries the football like a loaf of bread. That's why he fumbles so much. He has no ball control. He makes terrible passes and decisions when he's out of the pocket and on the run. He's had some very lucky plays go his way the other game when he just threw it up and got that completion when he had a guy on him and he threw up that floater. I mean, for goodness sake. You know, it's just like, dude, just take some responsibility like a normal human being. Don't run around here with this "I deserve a broken nose" stuff. Come on. All right, bro. I deserve my broken nose. And what it was is there was a play that happened with Simeon, and he ended up busting his nose, and you could see the bruise on the bridge of his nose is what he was talking about. I deserved it. So you deserve to be thrown to the ground and get a broken nose. Like, this is football, bro. All right? I don't want to hear I can't even articulate right now what I'm thinking. It's so frustrating. So you think that because you were taken down and your nose is broke a little bit that I had this coming? I had it coming to me, guys. That was my karma. Good for you, bro. Okay? Nobody over here feels sorry for you, dude. Okay? Guys break their noses all the time. Has anybody ever seen an old school edition of NFL films? Has anybody ever watched one of those? Come on. Guys played with broken noses, bleeding from their mouth and stuff like that all the time back in the day. Okay, I am not going to feel sorry for you, dude. Played in the NFC Championship game with a dislocated shoulder. I am not about to feel sorry for you, bro. Because with a dislocated shoulder, still shut his half of the field down. And you could tell the way he was holding his arm in there. I mean, you knew, but he kept playing. That's a bad dude right there. Andrew Luck played with lacerations in his stomach. Do you know that people die from that? Andrew Luck is a bad man. Okay? I do not want to hear your nonsense, bro. I'm over it. This conversation is over. I'm sick of talking about it. There's literally nothing that any of us can do. Because while everybody's talking about the problem, only a few are offering solutions that I think are actually logical. Why do I think my solution is actually logical? Because you keep your starting guy, the guy that everybody's used to dealing with in practice on a regular basis, the guy that is using all the formations, the guy that's got in with the starters, the guy who got all the praise from Von Miller and Emmanuel Sanders to begin the season with, though I'm sure he's not getting that now, and you could tell guys are holding their tongue. They know what the issue is. They know it's Trevor Simeon. But I am not going to just point the finger at Trevor Simeon alone, because I feel like as a coach, you need to make adjustments that will fit your quarterback's style of play. And in that system, I guarantee you that Charles and Anderson would flourish as well. Go look at pistol train and what it is. I mean, you could easily line up pistol train. You've got it to the right. Let's call it pistol train strong. All right, just for trying to make everything a little simple here on everybody. You would have C.J. Anderson because he's a big guy, and then you would have Jamal Charles in at the same time. You run those slant routes that he loves to throw. You do a bit. I mean, you could do a combination of routes just out of that alone. You got Virgil Green as your tight end. You could sneak him out on the other side there in the flat. Just let him go out to the right, little pooch pass out there. Demaryius Thomas and Virgil Green and their blocking abilities would definitely be really good for this team. Start lining them up out of 2 tight end sets. Denver, I think, has a couple of tight ends that are very underrated in this game right now in this league. You would be playing to their strengths, I think, as well. Simeon's not a guy who could get it upfield, but once that defense comes up, and then you got everybody one-on-one on the outside, Sanders and Thomas, you've only got to be able to get it out there about 15 yards, and they're already open. Because once you creep in those safeties, it's over. And they're, if you've got 2 guys streaking on a play-action play, and there's only 1 safety back there, it still means that somebody's going to be open. So some of this has to do with coaching. But I think Vance Joseph, for the most part, has done very well, particularly on the defensive side of the ball, where he has kept the Wade Phillips scheme of defense going. So Denver was very smart, in that hire, in that regard. The issue is going to be, can Denver get the offense going the direction that it needs to be in order to help out this team? Because I don't want Denver to return into retirement home for quarterbacks. I really don't. I want to see us develop a guy like the Green Bay Packers did. Green Bay got Brett Favre. He came in, saved the day with the Magic Man as his starting quarterback, and Brett Favre was able to come back in that game was against Cincinnati. That started who Brett Favre was, and they developed him. Aaron Rodgers was drafted, and they developed him. Denver needs to work on doing those things. I still believe in the old school way of playing football. Develop a guy. Give him a couple of years. Denver didn't put themselves in a situation where they could do that. They just kept drafting quarterback after quarterback after quarterback. And it seemed like they had no real plan for any of them. Maybe they did with Osweiler, but he went to Houston. And we know how that worked out, right? So I don't need to explain all this ad nauseum. Here's the bottom line. Trevor Simeon is most likely not going anywhere because they're a 500 football team. And it would send a really bad message to every other team in football if you were to just say, you know what, we're going to go at Paxton Lynch right now. Okay? I'm not saying that they absolutely shouldn't, but I'm saying that they probably won't. Okay? If they were 2 and whatever right now or 1 and whatever right now, different story. But they're not in that situation. So most likely Simeon's not going anywhere until the end of the season. And wherever he will go from there will be a backup role, and that's all there is to it. This is the Full Court Press. I am your host, Drew Duncan. You're checking me out live from the K-Sun Studios in Wichita, Kansas. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. It's all at Drew Duncan 83. You can also listen to ksunradio.org. That's ksunradio.org. Don't forget I am on Spreaker Podcast. Don't forget that I am now on Amazon. All you got to do is say, Alexa, play the Full Court Press by Drew Duncan on Spreaker, and my episodes will pop up. We're going to take a quick sponsor break. When we come back on the flip side, there is a lot more to get to. We'll be back right after this. Don't you dare touch that dial.